It's not a death if you don't have at least 2 blinks in your inventory. You're not wrong. It happens frighteningly often, to say the least. And Safed immediately swinging in to help us out with a silver lining. Because on the bright side, we could go with Spook Dog. And in fact, I absolutely love it. So, let's think about this. We could change things up if we wanted, but ideally, we could also just go with Ghoul Monk again and hope that we get a worship to Makleb, because I did really want to try out that combination to see how well they jive together, which I would think great. With the chances to heal on both sides, I'm hoping it might even out to almost always healing every kill, which would be pretty awesome. You like to use Prism, so that's oh, I forget the full name of the spell, but the Conjuration spell. Yeah, to counter the Boulder Beetle, placing a prism in front of it stops them in their tracks. That is very nice, yeah. It's funny, I was talking big game about the Boulder Beetles, I think just last Sunday, because I've never gone hit exceptionally hard by the rolling attack. Even though it says it deals double, so I expect it to hit, you know, up to 128 based on that 64 stat that's listed. Though again, I always only use the XV on them when they're already rolling, so I don't know if that number, their attack damage number, changes actively whether they're standing normally or they're rolling. Probably does, and that's actually 64 just total. But turns out I get to eat my words today, so that's fantastic. Gotta actually prove my internal biases wrong, because I kept thinking to myself, there's no way a Boulder Beetle ever hits us. They seem to always miss. But here we go. Going in with Claw Monk again, and I'm hoping for Makleb, because that is the combo that I would like to experiment with. See how it goes. And Fulminant Prism indeed, Railbird. Thanks for helping my brain get to that one. What about the Plant God? Can ghouls worship him now? For a while they couldn't. I believe we can. Our only limits in terms of who we can worship is that we cannot worship any of the good gods themselves. So that's Zin, the Shining One, and Elivilon. I've never actually said their name out loud, and in fact I almost never worship them, so they slip my list for the most part. But let's hop in with Spook Dog here and see. We could end up with Fedhas Madash for sure if we end up finding an early Fedhas altar. Does synergize decently well with throwing, or if we can find an early ranged weapon, now that we can shoot through all the plants and stuff. Or I guess we could always shoot through the plants. I'm thinking of the HEP allies in terms of updates, but it definitely works out to be able to drop down plants, run away through them, and then shoot enemies as they try to follow. But we will see what the dungeon has in store. If you have zombie hands, then it trivializes the Boulder Beetle as well. That definitely makes sense. That's another one where that's Bjornyor's Vile Clutch, right? At first, all that comes to mind is BVC. It's of course BVC, everyone knows BVC, but I had to think for a moment to get the actual names and words to come out. And indeed, Safed, let's hope to in fact drop it like it's hot on Spook Dog here. It's been a long time since I listened to any of Snoop Dogg's bespoke albums. Usually I listen to a decent number of songs that feature Snoop Dogg, but it's been a hot minute since, especially, yeah, Drop It Like It Hot is an all-time classic, to say the least. And perfect. My brain didn't at least fail me on BVC. There's so many acronyms in games like this that it can be really easy for me to just completely lose track of what they actually stand for and instead just become completely synonymous with the acronym itself. And here I spend far more turns just getting back into cover than it probably would have taken to just actually fight the Jackals 2v1, but hey, whatever gets us into the right mind state, thinking defensively. It's like driving. You want to be a defensive driver, not just passive. It's not enough to just be good. You got to be actively better. Here we go. I mean, Faded Altars, on the other hand, always tempting. I guess, so as a ghoul, it's impossible for us to get one of the good gods off of a fated altar, so we can automatically cross them off the list. Otherwise, we could get like a caster god. Trog is pretty dang useless, besides Brother-in-Arms. And I guess the willpower from Trog's hand, not trivial, in all situations at least. Not today. Let's go one more, trying to find one of the deities that I'm actually searching out for. And then we can start to have fun with it. If I happen to throw away any more poor innocent ghoul, I was going to say lives, but then unlives? Don't know how you always conjugate the undead's nomenclatures like that. And that run was definitely still a solid warm-up in terms of getting us prepared for the future here, as we run into another very early Robin this time around, again with a Wand of Flame, so at least not a horrible wand. But your friends are gonna be a mighty pain. So let's start running. And as long as we keep turning corners, Robin won't throw to cut us off, which is nice. Could change now. Ah, it did not. That's good. Ideally, we can get Robin next to us right away. And if we can take you out, we'll be okay. Perfect. And now we can run away, let the might fade off of the Hobgoblin here, and hope that our own innate healing on kills gets us through the rest of the miniature horde here. Not too bad whatsoever. Ooh, an early sling is actually kind of nice. I wouldn't mind picking that up. And in fact, let's go into our auto pickup and start picking up sling bullets as well here. Might be a nice source of early damage. I don't know, I might have to set up a macro key for just unequipping a weapon. It's not often that I'm switching between a ranged weapon and unarmed. Huh. Might be a quick key to just holster whatever's in your hand, but not one that I've used before. It's another thing in this game, besides the acronyms themselves, that there are a lot of kind of subtle control things that you might never run into, no matter how much you play the game. Like just last week, we learned about the @ sign showing us our average attack speed and stuff, and I'd never used that before in my 12 years or whatever it is that I've come on and off from the game. There's always more to learn, and Robin again indeed. Ooh, and an early Ajib again. Getting the whole gang back together. Fun stuff. Taking a bit more damage than I would have liked early on here. Let's see, 44% chance to evade our claws versus a 40% chance to evade our wand. Definitely tabbed my way a bit further into this fight than I otherwise should have, but we dodged the Wand of Flame, and it hits the rat behind us. Don't hate to see that. We also know your wand will do 2d10, and 4 damage plus your club. We shouldn't be 1 hit away from death, so let's try swinging a couple times. Oof, now we're 1 hit away from death. You know what, Spook Dog? I'm not ready to give up on you. Could go for 1 more hit to kill, but this potion... Oof, okay, we got lucky with a miss off a jib. The apostrophe key switches between A and B, so if you put a potion in B, it'll go unarmed. That's good to know. Okay. Count your blessing, it's not a wand of acid. I would count my blessings, but unfortunately, it might kill us anyway. But hey, never didn't have it. Let's just take a couple swings here, right? And perfect. Again, there's nothing like an early near-death experience to light the fire under your character's butt and make sure that they pick up their game a little bit in the future. Also, forgot to grab the helmet off of Robin this time around, so let's definitely come and grab that real quick. And let's head back to the stairs that we initially went down and keep her going here. We'll even switch over to the leather armor, hoping, again, that we'll find some tougher armor right off the bat here. I like to go as heavy as possible with our ghoul monks right off the start. Oh my gosh, this frilled lizard is a monster. Look how many kills it has. Oh my lord. Never seen a frilled lizard that scary, to say the least. I also should have killed this snake before starting to run away. We could have used the corridor to maintain the one-on-one, at least until the gnolls switched up to allow a halberder to hit us. I'm also counting my lucky stars that I didn't try an unexplored stairway, because this would have sucked. This would have been an instant death, I'm pretty sure. No matter what we did, they would have come up with us, at least 2, maybe even all 3 of the halberd gnolls. That's not the ideal situation, to say the least. But let's take the snake on a bit of a merry jaunt. They're dealing up to 5 damage, so we should be able to take a few steps safely here. A few being quite a lot here. Oops, let's not back ourselves into a cave, and let's take you upstairs, shall we? In fact, did only 1 gnoll follow us? I can take 1 gnoll. But we are going to be relying... Ooh, can I take 1 gnoll? Just barely. We're going to be relying on our 3rd stairway here being slightly less scary. In fact, at least they cleared out that room and gave us a little bit more breathing area down here. I would like to go downwards as soon as possible, though, because halberd gnoll packs are absolutely brutal in the current edition of the game. Very much likely to end our run right there, and in fact, even these jackals, if they completely surround us, a bit of a pain in the butt, so let's bring them back to our hallway, taking a few hits to do so. But in this large of a jackal pack, I do believe that that's worth it. And, oh me, oh my, let's make sure I stop my auto-explore before it takes us too far towards that said gnoll pack. And in fact, we could think about heading out here, or out of here, I should say. And I believe nothing has changed about how gloves interact with ghouls here. We could, and probably will end up wearing gloves in our future, but for the time being, it would just cover up our claws. And that is not what we're looking for in the early game here. There we go, back with our favorite group of pals there. This may be the last time we get lucky and weed out just one of the non-halberders, so let's count our lucky stars there and head to a new area, shall we? What do you call the chilly risen corpse of a grade school principal? They're pretty cool ghoul who rules the school, of course. Indeed they are. Ooh, Ashen Zari. Did not make our list of people that we may want to worship, but I have not tried new Ash yet. Could be interesting. We don't get any upgrade to our unarmed, I believe, so we cannot just curse our hands straight up. But it also means that we don't have to worry too much about switching off from different weapons and whatnot. Let's continue exploring the floor. We won't miss out on too much early PD, especially since we're a monk anyway, so we will get a bit more right off the start. Let's instead see who else we may come across early on here. I guess at some point I have to kill a gnoll, but it says it's easy. That doesn't explain why I'm shaking in my boots here. Maybe undeservedly, as that went way more easily than I expected it to. And, oh my gosh, okay, we actually get a shield this time around. That is lovely. Also, who gave that gnoll javelins? Oh my lord, stop this. Stop that. Not okay. Jeez Louise. Well, let us pop into our skills here, and I'm going to start training up shields right away. Bring it up to the requisite 15. I also don't really want to go up this direction much more, because that gnoll shaman is going to hit really hard. And okay, apparently they moved to much closer to us. Fun stuff. Don't notice? Oh, they noticed. Okay. Well, we have to kill you. We were in a better spot when we last fought one of these sons of guns. But it is what it is. Can you only haste others? You can only haste others, at least. That's good. You have a +2 whip of freezing, and that's not good. I think I'm going to go for a potion of might nice and early here and just try and wipe them off the face of this planet. Indeed, we do so. Does actually mean I can remove the exclusion I just put down with Control E. And, okay. I'm hoping for slightly easier early dungeon than we saw on our ex-school friend, because that got real rough real fast. Okay, that is a halberd Knoll who's wearing some crazy leather armor. Okay, just looks nuts because it's an artifact with multiple egos, but doesn't look too tough in terms of it's only a +1. Let's go for it. +1, the resistance to electricity is nice, but otherwise strength -3, not great, and +2, not great. So I don't actually know if I even want to put this on. Strength -3 is a bit of a deal breaker, and we don't gain a lot of advantage off of this at this stage in the dungeon. We may need it if we run across some nasty electric eels or something like that. But until then, we'd only gain 1 AC at a deficit of strength, which I'm hoping to kill things slightly fast here. Ooh, and there we go, some slightly heavier armor. Let's switch over to our scale mail, and that gives us the AC without having to trade off the strength. And perfect, scale mail right after that. Let's, oops, wrong key, pick up this bad boy as well, and we can in fact just start dropping some of our old bits of armor onto the floor. Oops, not the artifact leather, I meant the scale mail. Much better. And let us do a small test here as well. I wanted to put the sling on A. Make sure a potion of some kind is on B. Then if I switch, very cool. Okay. That's very nice to see. Now try and use the sling to soften up any enemies as they make their way towards us. I also want to maybe manually explore down here and try and get access to the temple. This does not look to be the way to do so. Let's try again. We have to go downstairs to get up to it. Interesting. In that case, I might run a little bit of a risk here. Hop down. Of course we get a timed portal. That's fantastic, game. I was hoping to be able to just pop up to that temple real quick before we finished exploring that floor. Oh my gosh, that troll is very early. Fun stuff. How do I get away from you? I can't really. Wild. Wand of Charming has a 46% chance if we have to get away from this situation. Could always retreat them off into a corner after making them our friend. Oof. Using a combination of our net and poison. Not great. Poison doesn't work fantastically against trolls with their innate regeneration, of course. Ooh, are they gonna... They might cut the... Okay, they did. I was worried they'd cut this distance here and gain some ground on us. But they did not do so. Do I just head back upstairs? We would only be able to finish exploring that floor, and then we have to deal with this troll one way or another. May have to use our final potion of might along with our net. Maybe that's a half decent combination. Let's see if we do. Let's switch over to our throwing net. We have a 57% chance to hit. That's not great. Not fantastic at all. Instead, could kick the can down the road. I'm gonna go for the Charming Wand here. One more try? Perfect. Sir, if I could talk to you. I think you need to retreat this way. Just trying to save your life is all. Perfect, and then we go this way. Hopefully they don't come right back to the same spot, even though they most likely will. And let's see what other wands we can get. Polymorph. could potentially give us a better enemy, but usually does not do so. And 2 ogres. Fun stuff. Thanks, Dungeon, for respecting my wishes at having a slightly smoother game this time. Love to see it. Where's that last stairway? I really want my temple. That's the only reason we came down here. But you we can probably take. Let's make sure that they don't slip the gap. Okay, the spiked club is a little bit scarier. Net has a 73% chance against this bad boy. The only issue is we lose our net. Is it worth the risk? Don't have the poison to help us out as well. Other options would be to again use Charming. Only 46% chance though. That's not great. I think Spook Dog might just have to risk it all. Risk it to get the biscuit here. Net and try and take them out real fast. Ooh, and we didn't lose our net. I definitely expected them to break it. But our troll friend is back. Of course. Fantastic. Well, what do we do with you? 38 health. You're dealing up to 35 damage. I at least should have put on my boots or something before we engaged here. But it is what it is, of course, as always. As is always the case in life. We could try and butter them up a bit with some preliminary damage here. Then we could try and use our net strat again. Hope that it all works out. But I think I'd rather just try to entice them once more. Please go this way? Okay. Quaslal, interesting. Fortunately, we're really close to the economical temple, so I think I would prefer to hold out for the god we're looking for today, but we also run into the sewers. If the troll wanders into the entrance of these, we're most likely dead. But if they don't, then this is gonna hopefully give us some more answers to deal with those problems. Oh, wait, no. Let's retreat to this portal in case we have to get out of here. Perfect. And awesome. We're just gonna slowly but surely fight our way through the masses of rats here. And yes, some potions. There will probably be a mirror on the other side. In fact, that is the case. Yes, I was gonna say let's hope they don't throw too many darts at us, but that's not a big deal at all. I forget that we're undead sometimes. I just feel so alive, you know? But let's try and poison up the elite brigand here. Get some preliminary damage, and then we should be able to take out these buddies without too much trouble. Perfect. And let's hope the rest of this area goes along the same pace here. It's a nice little bit of free experience at least, where we're not worried about getting snuck up on by the troll, which you love to see. But at the same time, we don't gain too much good out of it. Might not be the saving grace that we were otherwise hoping for. And let's see what else is waiting for us here. More brigands, eh? Ooh, this one with Curari. That is very good for us. With full immunity, it will not affect us, but that will be very helpful. And in fact, that might be the answer I was looking for. Because using Curari, we're able to slow down the troll and continue to have a bit of a buffer distance between us and them. And maybe continue to apply poisons, or at least use ranged weapons or something or another. Regardless, it is another option in the playbook for many an enemy that we could come across over the rest of the run here. So let's get all the good loot here. Not too shabby whatsoever. Okie dokie. Hopefully getting back in the saddle. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Let's head back out. We can start auto-exploring here. Again, ready to stop myself if I get too close to that troll, but turns out didn't have to worry because the troll's coming to us. We only have one Curari dart too, with only a 57% chance to hit. Fantastic. Well, they haven't noticed us yet. And I would, again, like to find our other upstairs. Please came. I only came down here so that I could get an early temple. Please, please, do me this favor. Just once game. Hey, there it is. Perfect. Okay, let's get the heck up here. Start exploring around. We are looking for Bedhass or McLeb. Hey, look at that. They're even next to each other. That's nice. Makes things pretty straightforward. But I am personally very curious about this synergy here. Plus, the nice thing about McLeb is they have some similar traits to Trog in terms of decent panic buttons. We don't have the willpower that Trog's hand gives us, but the ability to summon monsters does give us meat shields or at least gap creators in order to retreat from combat that might otherwise take us out. The only caveat there being that we need to do it a little bit earlier because it costs health rather than just piety. Yeah, I think we're going to try it out. See how it goes, get some good synergy going, a nice run taking off. Maybe, just maybe. Let's try her out here. Does mean that I want to head back to these stairs and finish off exploring this level now that we have picked up our deity. Get a nice amount of piety to start us off on our journey here. Fortunately, being a monk, we immediately gain access to the heal ability and minor destruction. And in fact, I am going to start training up invocations right away. Up until 16 is where I usually stop it, being a follower of McLeb, because that's where we gain full ability to call in the Greater Servant without much of a failure rate at the very least. And here we go. We may have to deal with that troll sooner rather than later. There you are, friend. Let us hit with Curari. Ooh, and it did hit. That's nice. Good start. That means we can start just stacking on as much poison as we can while they close the distance. Then I'm going to go for the throwing net strat again. And perfect. Able to take them out and even recover our throwing net once more. The issue there being, of course, if they break out of it, they completely destroy it in the process. But hey, lives another day, and it just might save our life in the future as well. So all in all, not too bad here. While still being slightly scary of a start, not nearly as bad as the last Ghoul had it. Though I maybe shouldn't speak so soon. We are only D6. Things can change. In fact, often do change at this stage in the game. We'll see how she goes. And of course, in a very fitting way, I heard some peals of thunder from just outside my window here as I started talking about our luck, which is fantastic, of course, as we get a bunch of chaos imps at the Zom altar. Fun stuff. But I'm sure the thunder outside wasn't ominous, dread, or saying anything about the future of our run, right? I'm sure it wasn't. How much damage do you do? Oh, that's not that bad. We should be able to take you out. I was more frightened than I had right to be there. But oh my lord, there are many ogres. No two-headed ones, so I'm thinking my lucky star is there. But still scary, especially, ooh, they got random energy towards us. Oof. That is not great. At least they lose a step. As long as we start backing away. Oh my gosh, bots are out in force today. We now at least have one gap, so I'm tempted to use Curari and poison this buddy to death. Of course we miss, and we also mulch our only Curari dart. Ouch. Well, That makes things very interesting. Could switch back to our net strat, 74% chance, but we may just die if it misses. And again, it's only when I come face to face with death that I think to myself, why didn't I put on those boots? Should have put on those boots. Definitely a tough situation here. I think I will risk the net though. And then the next question becomes, do I use the net as an excuse to run away? Or do I try and take this buddy out before the net breaks? We've done it before, only 6% to evade us too, it's not likely. Let's take a couple swings. Perfect. Okay, that net has done so much work for us. Definitely worth its weight in gold, to say the very least. Absolutely spectacular work, and let's remember for once in our gosh darn lives to put on these boots. Some nice, ooh, I can imagine that these are some rubber rain boots, very fitting for the noises I'm hearing outside of my own home here. And ooh, I was hoping the spear knoll would gain the lead here, and they still haven't. Oh my gosh, they have nets too. That's how I kill things that were way too strong for me to handle on my own. How did they find out that that's a valid strategy? Maybe I can take on two though. In fact, maybe I was a little more scared of the gnolls than I otherwise should be. Got a little bit of lasting fear of them based on how brutal the early halberd gnolls of the dungeon can be. So we break out of a net ourselves here and have to think about this. We could step in, but then both these buddies will be hitting us at the same time, which even though, again, we are in a decent place to take on gnolls, I don't love. But I guess if we kill them relatively quickly, which we can at 13 health, we should be able to heal out past the damage, and it's mostly this shaman that becomes the issue. If they start hasting everyone too much, I'm unhappy. Oh, apparently they're just going to step up and take the brunt of it themselves. That works for me. And let's switch over to retreat as we start to lose health here. At least create some gaps in their ranks. And we can even subsidize some poison into our pathing here. See how that works out for us. As long as there's a nice gap between us and the spear knoll, I'm happy to try and apply some extra damage to our whippy friend here. I don't know why the spear knoll keeps losing space on us. Well, there we go. Able to take out the gnolls once we gain that extra little gap finally. And holy moly. At least these are more consistent problems. These are the kinds of problems that we want to run into on a character, rather than the very out-of-depth monsters. They're just in-depth, scary monsters, which I can deal with. Not too bad. Though, again, this floor has far too many ogres, to say the least. Specifically ogres with the spiked clubs as well. As we trade one invisible enemy for another, Sky Beast gone, Orc Wizard takes their place. But let's head back to another stairway, make sure that we're not coming down into immediate danger at the very least. And I would like to start identifying all of my consumables. I should have done it by now. We have a whole lot of scrolls, so we're very likely to have the required ones, or the ones that we would desire to have here. But at the same time, I have a bit of an impetus to not use it on this floor and instead wait until we get one more floor down. That way, if we do have magic mapping in our stacks, it does some use for us instead of being kind of wasted on a floor that's almost completely explored already. Though I will regret saying any of this if we meet an untimely end, of course. And lemurs mean pickle, which means I need to find a way. Oh no. Don't want to hurt you. Dang it. Might have to kill lemur. Or lemurs, as I like to call them, to separate it from the cute little ring-tailed animals that we know so well. I'm gonna waste a couple turns reading these high stack scrolls. I was actually hoping for teleport, but we apparently just have a huge stack of amnesia scrolls instead, which is interesting to say the least. Also a huge stack of cancellation potions, which is also odd. Huh. What a wild world we live in. Well, I'm so sorry, Lemire. Oh, they switched places. Okay, never mind. Never didn't have it. Let's chug a might potion so I can try and kill Pickle right away. Hey, I didn't have to compromise any of my ideals or morals. That's awesome. I do love that Pickle at least wades their way through all their tortured souls of the damned and faces me the way they should. Not to say I like them whatsoever, because obviously problematic, their whole deal, but it is nice to not deal with that. Also, I accidentally hit it just there, but what I actually wanted to do was inscribe this bad boy with @R1. And let us start identifying some things, shall we? Getting heal wounds potions right off the bat, which is exactly what we're looking for, and then we want curing. Hey, no problem, it's that easy, just ask for it. And then we can switch over to some of our scrolls here and see what we get. And there we actually find our teleportation scroll that I was so looking for a moment ago. Can actually put on our rings as well. I didn't realize that we'd picked up a See Invisible ring. That's very handy. Have on us this early in the game. That's 2 runs in a row now that we've had a very early See Invisible ego from anything. And Menkar is interesting. I thought you would be so easy the last time we faced you, and you ended up being a pain in the butt. This time you're easy. Okay, good to know. A Steam Dragon, on the other hand, a little bit scarier with that Steam Ball. Could kill us in just a few hits, especially if we have to stand in their steam at all. So, I at least want to reset up to full health before we fight this bad boy. So let us run on back to our stairways for the moment. And in fact, I might actually just switch over to our unexplored stairways so that we can push that problem off for the time being. See what else we come up against. Hello, Maggie. Nice to see you. Multiple sources of fire, but hey, this time we have resistance to fire before facing her. So that's slightly better than our usual situation. We also are starting to get invocations, so we have minor destruction, but no minor servant in the club yet. So I might hold off on using any piety for now. And instead, let's just start applying some poison and see how we do off the start here. Because the other thing we can do is use a throwing net, which very much neuters casters, because they spend turns trying to escape the net, usually, rather than attacking us with their spells. We did see a couple of her flame bolts come out, of course, but much better than it otherwise might have been. And unfortunately, no more Curari off of that buddy, which is unfortunate. I was hoping for that on some level, but cannot complain, as we're still in an alright spot here. Hello, my centaur friend. And indeed, nothing too scary so far. Ready to be proven wrong, game. I'm still awaiting with clutched breath here. Waiting for the next shoe to drop. Let's see. Resistant to steam, but you're not resistant to poison. We have a decent chance of hitting you with our poison as well. As long as I just step out of the steam each time. They kind of create their own shields between us as well, so that's not too bad. And there we have it. It will take out the Steam Dragon in one piece as well. Can't ask for more than that at the end of the day here. We also got 2 Scrolls of Torment this time. Okay, I need to actually remember to use those in the critical times of need, because that is incredible for a ghoul. And hello, my blinky friend. Not too bad. Okay, much better D7 than our previous one, to say the very least. So we continue to make our way through the dungeon here. Starting to get to the stage where we might be coming across our lair entrance. In fact, this could be it, with a bunch of yaks hanging out up front. Okay, no, just a pack of yaks in the middle of the dungeon, like they do. I mean, I doubt there's a lot to graze from out here, but you do you, I guess. And a +2 kite shield. Just lying around. Seems suspicious, but I won't look this gift horse in the mouth, I guess. And so we continue on. We've got to be getting pretty close to where we'll be able to use this shield without too many penalties here. And in fact, if we take a look, we're up to 7.2. Currently, our average attack speed is 0.8. If we put on our +2 shield, it goes to 0.9. That's not that bad. We're still attacking faster than once per turn at the very least. So I think I will gladly make the change that I want to see in the world. And let's continue on here. Perfect. Another ring of protection from cold. Probably not useful. And in fact, we'll almost definitely be throwing one of those bad boys out right away here. Another ring of strength, on the other hand, I will switch to, just to get some extra damage right off the cusp here. I don't believe we're able to be paralyzed, especially not by poison, I guess, so that kind of settles that. Oh, and a much scarier two-headed ogre than the previous one that we faced. The last run, that is, of course. Because this one has double spiked clubs. Fun stuff. How much health do you have, friend? 55. So if these are dealing 3d9, or 3d7 rather, that's 21 damage. So ideally we could kill them in 3 ice blasts, which we could get off before they close the distance, don't get me wrong. We also have a nearby stairway, so that's not too bad, as long as I don't risk waiting too long before we start to retreat. This is not an enemy I'm willing to risk melee combat with, I don't think, even with nets. But let's see how maybe a couple blasts go. Oof. Really well, which makes me scared, because the better these go, the more tempted I am to risk it all. But come on. There we go. Perfect. That's a whole lot of experience early on. A much better situation too. This time around, we have a lot more resources at our disposal to deal with some of these early threats. Most namely, the sheer number of wand charges that we have. Oh my gosh, please don't net me, sir. Let's see, +2 trident of protection. Flail. What did you friends have? +4 greatsword, +0, +2 flail. Greatsword might be a little bit scary, but not too bad. Null Sergeant, also a little bit freaky, but we should be able to take them out in relatively few strikes, at the very least. So let's try that. Maybe even soften them up a bit with an ice blast. In fact, let's just finish the job like that, shall we? Or at least get close to it, and then we can tab our way through the rest of the masses here. Perfect. Not too bad. Looking pretty swell so far, to say the least. Magic regeneration, not quite our cup of tea, not what we're looking for. I guess I could put it on, but there's almost no point. We have absolutely no use for magic points at the time being. So in fact, no, I think I will just drop it. Save ourselves for the next brilliant amulet. And, oof, there's a Bailey on this floor, which I definitely want to get to. Baileys are one of my favorite time portals early on here, as long as we're able to survive them at the very least, of course. It's also usually a bit more noticeable because it has a big water area surrounding it. At least most of the entrances that I've come across lately to the Bailey have.